A lot has happened over the last 15 years. Our world has changed, people have changed, and coaches have increasingly played a larger role in helping individuals and organizations be successful in their endeavors. What began as a relatively small community of coaches has blossomed into a global community of passionate professionals. On this globe, you can see the presence of the ICF made possible by our thousands of members located around the world. 15 years is a short amount of time association-wise, yet working together, ICF members have accomplished astounding achievements during this time. Let's take a moment to see what stands out in ICF's rich history to several of ICF's past presidents.
Well, Thomas Leonard, who was the founder of Coach U back in 1992, came up with the idea of an international organization or professional association of coaches in 1995. So he took $50,000, which is what he budgeted to start the ICF, out of Coach U and appointed Cheryl Richardson and me as the first co-presidents of the ICF. And the ICF had no staff, no employees. It was all volunteer, and it very quickly grew to a number of people in the first couple of years.
There was just these wholehearted commitments by people to create this thing out of scratch, and it was really creative out of scratch because we kind of didn't know, what we were doing other than trying to bring something together that supported the industry and would sustain the profession over time. We didn't want to see it getting sucked up by something else, consulting or therapy or anything like that. And so we wanted it to have a distinction in the marketplace. That's why certification was so critical and why the association needed to be strong and to have a strong voice out there. And so it was just wonderful to be a part of all that energy, wanting to create this thing and bring it out to the world.
I think the fact that we exist, first of all, that the ICF has been created in response to a need that has emerged in humankind, and that the ICF actually creates a space for a community that is dedicated to that kind of service in the world. So that's pretty historical as far as I'm concerned. And also the fact that it's global. It's, I don't know how many countries we're in right now as of this, but it's over 90 something in the world where we've got people cross-culturally in the same conversation. So, it doesn't matter the culture, the language, we're all connecting with like mind and like spirit in relation to, being a contribution to the success and well-being of people on the planet.
There was so much going on in 1996 as Thomas Leonard invited the first set of members into the ICF and talked me into publishing a weekly newsletter for those members and working on the website. And that, of course, brought us into the enormous expansion that technology made possible. There was a lot going on with changes, and there was a lot going on with expanding to non-Coach U members.
We went from this handful of people, 150 people who attended the first coaching conference in Houston, to now a growing population all over the planet. And we have this amazing opportunity that no other profession has. We have a common language and a common conversation. And so whether we're 30,000 members or 1 million members in the next 10 years, I think what we've seen happen is just the foundation for what will happen with coaching.
I think that the defining moments for most of us are the efficacy of the profession and the incredible people that we've had the opportunity to associate with over the years.
I don't know that any of us had any idea that it would be so huge.
I think one of the biggest highlights in all of the years that I've been connected with the ICF and with coaching was just following the 9/11 experience. At that point, we realized that we were such an international organization, because the coaching community stepped up and showed incredible concern, not only for everyone that was involved, actually really involved in 9/11, but for all of their colleagues all over the world. And one thing that we did was the ICF hosted a 24-hour conversation. We had all of the executive committee and board members offer to do different hours of the day for 24 hours. There was a line that was open, and coaches from all over the world called in whenever they needed to, whenever they wanted to, and we talked, consoled each other, found out about each other who was involved, who had relatives and friends. The community just dove in with their tremendous concern for those who lived in the New York area, and it was a powerful experience for me, and I think for everyone else that was involved in the ICF. It again gave us the opportunity to see that the real treasure of being involved in this profession and the real blessing of being involved in the ICF was the community of coaches.
Well, the ICF's work at engaging in research, initially with our global coaching study, and then more recently with our global client study, has really contributed a lot to the evolution of coaching, to the understanding of coaching, and to have this most recent study with the global coaching client study, it really gives us some tangible information from the client's perspective.
As the ICF has grown over the years, so has the public's awareness and understanding of professional coaching. More and more people are discovering the impact of coaching can have for both their personal and professional lives.
It's a relief, really, to not have to define coaching anymore. People are more familiar with it. They're familiar with the benefit that it has for them as individuals and for their relationships with others. So it's nice to be beyond that conversation of what is coaching to, how can I use coaching to help me create this? And I think we're much more in that phase now, which is, what's coaching got to offer me right where I am, instead of what is coaching. It's quite a bit of progress we've made.
Actually, I think what's very exciting is very early on, and probably for the first 5 or 6 years, what I got a tremendous amount of was, what is coaching? Why would someone pay you to be their best friend? What's the difference between coaching and therapy? And now much more what I hear out in the world is, who is your coach? What was your last coach like? Who else do you know that has coaches? That's a really wonderful thing. I've heard all about it. I really think maybe that's something that I need to have.
Professional coaching really has changed over the years. From the time I first entered the profession in 1996, I think it was, the amount of recognition for coaching, particularly in my country of Australia, has really grown enormously. The involvement of academics and universities in coach training has changed significantly, and ICF as an organisation has really grown up. So yeah, I've seen lots of changes.
Coaching has become much more accepted and mainstream and much more acknowledged as a critical tool, both in the life coaching venue as well as the corporate and the executive coaching venue. So one of the things that I see coaching doing in the future is continuing to demonstrate through very solid research the return on the investment, and becoming a really prevalent tool that you see being used in all kinds of interesting ways beyond the corporate sector and beyond the life coaching sector, but moving into the, working with teens and all kinds of interesting things. And the ICF and the wonderful volunteers that have made the ICF the organization that it is, they've really created the foundation for that future growth and expansion.
Working from the strong foundation the ICF has built over the years, there is much anticipation for where we can go in the future, both as an association and working together on behalf of the profession of coaching.
I'm just really proud of where the ICF is now, and how far we've come in the very short time that we've been in existence. So lots of hard work and hard efforts and volunteer energy from really phenomenal people along the way just fills me with energy that keeps me engaged and keeps me curious about where we're headed as a community.
The essence of my pleasure and delight in being connected with this coaching community, the International Coach Federation community, and all the ancillary ones that are growing up now, difference, the EMCC, the WABC, all the people that are in this conversation. The best part, really the best part, is the people. People coming together with a common goal to be a difference in the world. And that's what excites me and continues to actually give me fuel for my fire to continue this work in the world.
We have a lot of work to do. Leadership needs us, and coaching is primarily about leadership of self and of others. And this is a time in the world's history when we have to do what we do consciously, in integrity, and when we are being called forth to another level of service to mankind. And so, proud to be a coach. Let's go find some more.
I see exciting things ahead for this profession, and I know we talk semantics a lot. Is it a profession? Is it an industry? Whatever else it is definitely a profession with a professional body of knowledge and standards and ethics and history. And we have talked now. I do a lot of work about leadership in the 4-generation workplace, and one thing I do know is that the younger generations are even more attuned to what coaches have to offer than the generations that came before, so I see huge growth.
As I look at what's happening in coaching, I really see us emerging as a profession at a very rapid rate. And I see ICF continuing to grow and raising the professionalism of coaching around the world. So I see a very bright future ahead.
One of the things that ICF's given me is a bird's eye view of our fabulous members. When I remember the conference experience, I've also been very privileged to have access and visited chapters around the globe. Things I would never have done had I not been part of ICF and a leader. And each time I've absolutely been shocked to find there's people like me out there who care enough to give a lot of time. And it's sort of a shock just to see that, even though maybe I expect more of myself than I do of others, but when I see those things, it's really heartening. And I know what we've got planned and in the pipeline is going to give more and more people access to that wonderful leadership experience.
One thing that I want to say to all the members of the ICF is it's really tempting to think about yourself as a member because you pay your money and you get your membership number and you expect benefits. But what's really critical is that you think of yourself as so much more than just a member of the ICF, because you're a member and you're a volunteer and you're a leader and you are in position to help create the legacy of this organization as it moves forward. So I'm going to ask every one of you that's consider yourself an ICF member to really expand that. You are the heart and soul of this organization. You need to realize that you're our volunteer energy, you're our vision for the future, and you are so critical to what the ICF can do in the world in the future.
If our early accomplishments are any indication of what we can expect to achieve in the years to come, the ICF has a bright future indeed. Working together, we can continue to advance the art, science, and practice of professional coaching.